Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Produce Buzzers podcast. We are so happy you have joined us today, and I think you will be too after the show is over, because you will learn a lot about fresh fruits and vegetables, how to select and store them, how to prepare and cook them, and surprising facts about their history and origin. We hope it inspires you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, not only for your health, but also for your delight and pleasure as you explore their amazing world of taste and delicious flavors. Eating more of them will transform your life in so many positive ways. So settle back, relax, and get ready for another delicious adventure with the Produce Buzzers. Greetings and welcome to another delicious episode of the Produce Buzzers podcast. I'm Edwin Stepp, your host and executive editor of ProduceBuzz.com. I'm joined once again by Teresa Nolan, the president and founder of Produce Buzz, along with Rick Stepp and Cynthia Benedetto, contributing editors to Produce Buzz. Now, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, love is in the air and on your plate. Welcome to this week's special Valentine's episode of the Produce Buzzers podcast, where we're diving into the most romantic fruits and vegetables to set the mood for love. From the aptly named passion fruit to mythical pomegranates to the silky sweetness of strawberries, we'll explore the aphrodisiac powers, symbolism, and delicious ways to incorporate these love-boosting foods into your Valentine's Day celebrations. Whether you're planning a romantic dinner, a cozy night in, or just looking to add a little extra love to your meals, we've got you covered. So grab a glass of wine, set the ambiance, and let's talk about the most seductive foods nature has to offer. But first, let's look at a short history of Valentine's Day. What are its origins? Valentine's Day, celebrated every February 14th, as we know, is a holiday dedicated to love and affections. But its origins are far more complex than just chocolate and roses. The history of Valentine's Day is a mix of ancient traditions, religious martyrdom, and centuries of romantic evolution. Yes, Valentine's Day has ancient roots. Long before Valentine's Day became a celebration of love, the Romans held a mid-February festival called Lupercalia. This pagan fertility festival was dedicated to the gods Faunus and Romulus. Now, Faunus, very apropos for our podcast, was the god of agriculture. So that fits in with our Produce Buzzers theme. Romulus was the founder of the city of Rome. And this Lupercalia festival involved rituals meant to purify the city and encourage fertility. One of its customs included young men drawing women's names in a lottery, sometimes leading to relationships and marriages. This festival of Lupercalia was a pretty wild celebration, one of the wildest in the Roman seasons of festivals. It's linked to pagan traditions of fertility, purification, and protection against evil spirits. In fact, the name February, the month it resides in, comes from the Latin word febra, which means to cleanse. And the Lupercalia festival took place in the Lupercal cave on the Palatine Hill, where Romulus and Remus were said to have been suckled by Lupa, the she-wolf who kept them alive when they were just babies. So, the legend of St. Valentine. The holiday's name comes from St. Valentine, but the exact identity of this figure remains debated. There were multiple Christian martyrs named Valentine, but the most famous was a Roman priest who defied Emperor Claudius II's orders. Legend says that Claudius banned marriage for young men, believing single soldiers were better warriors. St. Valentine secretly performed weddings, leading to his arrest and execution on February 14th, around 270 AD. And before his death, he reportedly sent a note signed "From your Valentine," inspiring the modern tradition of those love letters. As Christianity spread through the empire, Pope Gelasius I banned the festival of Lupercalia in the late 5th century because of its debauchery, and he replaced it with St. Valentine's Day on February 14th. However, some of the themes of love, matchmaking, and fertility persisted in the legend of the modern holiday. So Lupercalia was celebrated on February 15th. Pope Gelasius switched it to the 14th to honor this St. Valentine's, who tried to keep love alive in Rome.
Well, not for nothing, like lubricaceous,
Lupercalia.
lubricalia. That sounds not so enticing. And then what did you say about succulus? Like,
So
ugh.
suckled, the she-wolf, you know the story of founding of Rome? The twins, Romulus and Remus.
Okay.
They were two twins that were born, and they were sent out to what they used to call exposing children that they didn't want. So they were left out in the woods to die. And the she-wolf, Lupa, came and suckled them to keep them alive. So they were kept alive. And then eventually they grew up. Eventually, Romulus killed Remus and became the founder of Rome. So, anyway. But by the Middle Ages, Valentine's Day was becoming associated with romantic love. The poet Geoffrey Chaucer helped popularize the idea in the 14th century with his poem Parliament of Fowls, which linked February 14th with birds choosing their mates. Soon the notion of courtly love took hold, and people began exchanging handwritten notes and tokens of affection. By the 18th and 19th century, Valentine's Day became a widespread celebration in Europe and America. The Industrial Revolution made it easier to mass produce Valentine's cards, and by the early 1900s, companies like Hallmark were printing commercial Valentines. Over the time, the holiday expanded beyond love letters to include flowers and chocolates and extravagant romantic gestures. Today, Valentine's Day is celebrated worldwide with gifts, candlelit dinners, and heart-filled messages. And we want to make sure that some nice, very delicious fruits and vegetables get part of that celebration. While some see Valentine's Day as a romantic necessity, others view it as an overly commercialized. Either way, its centuries-long journey from ancient Rome to modern day romance proves that love in all its forms remains timeless. So now, each of our produce buzzers is ready, prepared today to tell you about a fruit or vegetable, or maybe more than one, that you can use to make your Valentine's celebration meal much more romantic and healthy. So let's get to it. Which produce buzzer wants to start today?
Well, I'd be happy to start.
I knew it would be our fearless leader. She's always
I'm leading you out of the wilderness here. We
okay.
go.
Ready.
Well, I have a great affinity for strawberries. So I thought I would talk a little bit about some things you can do with strawberries for Valentine's Day.
Yep, that's
Um,
important. Strawberries got to be on that menu. Got to be the
yeah,
most significant fruit of love, I think. Anyway,
right.
go ahead.
According to ancient folklore, if two people cut and share a strawberry, they will fall in love. So,
Oh,
how about that? It's a symbol of Venus, the goddess of love, and they're considered an aphrodisiac. And there's the seeds on the exterior of the berry are considered a symbol of fertility.
hmm.
So it met all the little um, qualifications that Edwin has already mentioned here. So they're also very good for your heart. 3 servings a week, according to a test done, would reduce chances of a heart attack by 32% because they're high in vitamin C and fiber. They also reduce the cancer risk.
Wow.
Potassium will decrease your blood pressure and also help with heart disease. And the vitamin C increases your immunity. They will also increase cognitive decline because of all the good things that they have.
It will
And
increase
decrease,
cognitive. Okay.
decrease your cognitive
I
decline
heard
there.
that wrong. Sorry.
Okay. It was probably your hearings going or something, you know?
Your
Exactly. I'm
cognitive.
not I'm not eating enough strawberries.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, and in addition to that, because of their high fiber content, they will help to reduce food cravings. They only have 50 calories in a serving, which is a half a cup. And they're a great addition to your menu for Valentine's Day. I think you could just take any of your favorite salads, slice them up, and throw them in your salad to give that heart-shaped red color
oh
to the
yeah.
salad. Then you can top it with a strawberry vinaigrette,
Oh, yummy.
which is very easy to make. Get your blender or your food processor out, throw in a cup of strawberries, 2 tablespoons of, I used white vinegar. You can use apple cider vinegar if you wish, but I chose to use the white vinegar and to add 2 tablespoons of orange juice in addition to that to give the white vinegar a little bit more flavor. And then 2 tablespoons of olive oil and about a fourth a cup of honey. And that's for Cynthia because we want it to be good and sweet, and she likes that.
Thank goodness.
The orange juice would sweeten it up quite a bit too.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, but the honey makes it really sweet. So then you can add like a pinch of salt and a little bit of pepper if you're salt and pepper kind of people.
Yeah.
And then just pour that over your favorite salad. It is really, really good, a really good dressing. And that way you can also control the type of oil that goes in it. You're not buying an off-the-shelf dressing that might have one of the seed oils that we're all hearing so much about these days. And if you still need a little dash of happiness for your meal, for your dessert, you can take about a cup of chocolate chips, add about a tablespoon of butter, put them in the top of a double boiler over water, heat them slowly, and then dip your strawberries in the chocolate and put them on a piece of wax paper in the refrigerator for long enough for them to the chocolate to harden up a little bit. And there you have a fabulous dessert with very little cost to it. So
Wow.
Just make sure the strawberries are washed and completely dry because the water will affect the chocolate in a bad way.
that is a very good point, Cynthia, because it'll cause it to kind of almost curdle up. So you want them to be washed and dried and give them plenty of time to dry ahead of time. And one more thing you can do is when you're serving your strawberries, you can add a tiny bit of balsamic vinegar to them that brings out their sweetness. Some people like to cut them up and add a little bit of sugar.
Are
That
you
brings out
saying?
the juices.
Let
What,
me
that
let me
macerate? Yeah. Add sugar.
let me
Yeah.
clarify where you add the balsamic vinegar on your salad.
You can
Or
do that on a salad, but just on the strawberries themselves.
really the
Yeah,
chocolate
just a
covered strawberries,
no,
or
no, no,
just have
no.
strawberries with balsamic vinegar?
Regular strawberries, just
Okay,
strawberries cut up with some balsamic vinegar on them.
right.
Wonderful. Um, and if you're really a sugarholic for Cynthia, you can
Thank you.
slice them, sprinkle a little bit of sugar on them, and give them a few minutes. The juices will come out, makes them a little juicier.
Hmm. That sounds good. I like that. I've done that. I like to add lime, squeeze
Lime.
some lime with the sugar on it on the strawberries. That's a great combination.
Yeah, that's almost like a citrus dressing that
Yeah,
you're making when you do
right.
that. Yeah, you could do it with honey too, honey
Yeah,
and lime. That
right.
would be really good. So, those are my contributions for strawberries.
Fantastic. We had to feature strawberries, and Teresa is the strawberry queen. There's nobody that knows strawberries better than her, I don't think. She used to market them for Driscoll's and for the California Strawberry Board. So she really knows how to prepare, select, and all about them. That was interesting about their symbolism
Yeah.
in the past. Thanks for sharing that. Okay, Cynthia, what do you have for us for Valentine's Day?
My contribution today is beets, one of my favorite veg. And I'm going to begin with roasting the beets, but I have two options that you can utilize the roasted beets with. So I roast my beets at 400 for about an hour. The salad that I have is using the roasted beets that are cooled, chop them up, and marinate them in red wine vinegar and olive oil.
Hmm.
And I do it generally the day before so it really marinates. So then when I'm ready to combine them with the balance of the ingredients, I use quinoa, minced white onion, dill, and salt and pepper.
Mm.
And then it becomes a salad of sort, and almost like an ice cream scoop, and serve it on a bed of arugula. And of course, you got to top it with something like goat cheese crumbles.
That sounds great.
So, but also what I like to do is, so I'll have extra beets and you slice them about quarter of an inch to a half an inch thick. And you can use a heart-shaped cookie cutter. And
Oh, got it.
then you have the heart-shaped beets.
Oh, beautiful.
But what's so great about it is I feel like people either love beets or they're fearful of beets. And but they're so full of antioxidants and fiber. They support heart health, liver detoxification, brain health, and lysine is an important amino acid that one of the ones that our bodies cannot produce.
Hmm.
But they have a lot of vitamins, and the biggest amount they have are like magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, and calcium. They taste really good, and with all the health benefits, they are hard to beat.
Ah, very good. Homegrown. Okay, now I have a few questions just to
Go ahead.
clarify. You may have,
Yes.
maybe I missed it, but first of all, you roast your beets whole. Sounds like,
Correct. So I clean them like you would clean a potato,
right?
and I do use aluminum foil on it
Okay,
and roast them whole. Yes.
okay. The aluminum foil helps them cook quicker or holds the moisture in more. Is that what we're talking about?
I think it has to do with maybe it helps sweat them in, because after they cool, the the peel easily comes off.
Okay, so you want to peel them. So then you chop them up. How finely do you chop them for this salad?
Not big chunks like potato salad. So small chunks like, I don't know, like quarter inch each, like
Okay,
something that you could, you know what? Here's the best rule of thumb. It's supposed to be when you chop something for a soup or whatever dish you're making, it's supposed to be able to fit on a spoon.
okay. One chop, one piece.
Well, no, not one big chunk, but like it's not supposed to be like if you use baby potatoes and cut it in half, like you have to have, you can't
Yeah.
shove that big thing in your mouth.
Okay. All right. Well, that clarifies it. I guess people can experiment with the size and whatever they prefer. Very good. Okay, now that sounds fantastic. I love was it couscous you're mixing with?
Quinoa.
Quinoa. Oh, protein. Fantastic.
Yes.
Lots of protein there. Quinoa and
Minced white onion.
okay. Minced. Very fine. Okay. Great. Yeah, and then
Dill. And dill is like,
oh man.
dill's like one of those things like my daughter loves dill
Oh,
and wants to put it in everything. A little bit of dill goes a long way for me, not as bad as cilantro,
yeah.
but like yes, you can always add it, so don't get heavy-handed on that.
Right. I love dill, so it wouldn't bother me, but fresh dill, obviously not dried.
Yes,
Yeah. Everything's fresh.
yes,
I know.
everything's fresh. If I'm gonna roast and I'm gonna be doing all this stuff, I am not then gonna use a dried dill.
Okay. And I love that you put it on this bed of arugula because I love arugula. You know what I think? And then you talked about the heart-shaped beets. You should put that on the same plate around the edges. I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for playing, but you can't OD on that. The heart-shaped beets,
Pretty big.
I probably did not explain very well, but that would be for the main course.
Oh.
And that would complement or complement your I would say fillet or yes. Yeah. Or a nice piece of fish would be a good one because then you would have the color contrast.
Right.
I love the flavor of beets. When my husband juices, if he doesn't add beets, I'm not really interested because I like that little bit of it adds a sweetness in a form in which Teresa would partake in. I don't know. They're just sweet. I like them.
Yeah. And when I pressure cook them, I drink the juice. You can pour it into a cup and heat it up in the microwave.
So like you pressure cook it and then you irradiate them. Okay.
But you can sip
add
on
some bourbon to it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
You can do that too. You can add vodka for a romantic Valentine's dinner. But your recipe doesn't have any juice. It's irrelevant.
Exactly.
A beet martini. Yes.
Oh, ooh.
That doesn't appeal to me, but go for it.
You'd be surprised how good it is. Maybe you could call it a Bloody Mary. I don't
know. Yeah.
No, with a Bloody Mary, you got to have something spicy with it. Don't they put Tabasco or something like that in it? Or don't they put Worcestershire in there?
I think there is both Tabasco and Worcestershire sauce.
So I wouldn't want either of those with beets.
Yeah, but when you make a Bloody Mary, just as an experiment, you could add beet juice with the tomato juice. It'll give it a little different flavor.
Let me know how that is.
Okay.
Okay, what about, do you use different color beets?
You could, yellow, but I thought for Valentine's Day you wouldn't. Yeah. However, the gold beets are really yummy, and yes, if I am making beets, I probably would not dilute the color in the beet salad, but you could do the gold beets every other one, and so you'd have a color break in there. If you want a nice color break for your side, in addition to the red beets, you can use candy cane beets, and that'll give you a nice color break.
Right. And are they kind of white and red? They must be white and red if they're called candy cane beets.
Yes, they're like a candy cane, a candy striper. Roast those, and then in addition to regular red beets, and then when you do the cookie cutter, when you plate it, you could do red, variegated red variegated. So you'd have a really nice display
Presentation,
of
yeah.
color. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Cynthia. That sounds delicious and visually stunning for a Valentine's Day celebration. So thank you for that. Well, Rick, what are you bringing today to help people celebrate their Valentine's Day?
Well, I'm going to talk about passion fruit.
Oh, that doesn't have anything to do with Valentine's passion fruit. Why would you? No. Oh,
Actually, it doesn't. I guess you guys probably know the story of passion fruit.
No.
Actually, passion fruit originates from South America, specifically from the region stretching from southern Brazil through Paraguay to northern Argentina. The fruit has been cultivated since ancient times, primarily by indigenous communities in these areas. It was later introduced to Europe in 1553 by Spanish and Portuguese colonists. The term passion fruit comes from the passion flower. Around 1700, the name passiflora was given by missionaries in Brazil as an educational aid to convert indigenous inhabitants to Christianity. Its name was Flora das Cinco Chagas, or Flower of the Five Wounds, to illustrate the crucifixion of Christ and the resurrection, with other plant components also named after instruments of the Passion of Jesus. So you would think it has something to do with love. I guess it does, but
that's
a different use of passion than what we would probably use for Valentine's Day.
Right. Yeah. The passion as opposed to.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And the reason I chose it for Valentine's Day, because I always thought of passion in a different way than that.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was named for just normal human passion.
Yeah.
I think
The
you're
fruits
mistaking that with lust, Rick.
The fruits are mainly consumed and have a juicy, edible center of many seeds. So passion fruit can be squeezed to make juice. It is also used in pastries and other baked products. But today I thought, well, passion fruit and chocolate sounds good, and I looked up recipes, and sure enough, there are quite a few recipes that you can use chocolate and passion fruit.
Great.
But the one I chose to do, and I made this last night. Everything's 4 ounces for the ingredients. 4 ounces of passion fruit, half of a banana, which is about 4 ounces. 4 ounces of mango, 4 ounces of dark chocolate, and I chose the 49% cocoa dark chocolate. But depending on how much sugar you want in your drink, you can go higher is up to 90% cocoa, or you could use milk chocolate if you want it really sweet. 4 ounces of cream or almond milk, and 4 ounces of rum. So just remember the number 4. So I just put all that I looked at several drink recipes online, and they all were kind of complicated. So I thought, I'm just going to make all fruit, basically. So put this mixture into a tall blender and blend it for maybe 3 minutes, because the chocolate that I bought was pretty rough, and it took a while to grind up the chocolate. It almost sounded like if you put ice in your blender.
What kind of chocolate are you talking about? Like a chocolate bar, like a Hershey's chocolate bar? What kind of chocolate did you buy?
Well, you could use a Hershey's chocolate bar, but if you want to use the chocolate that's better for you,
oh, right,
get a dark chocolate that's anywhere from 90% chocolate down to, say, 50%. 49% is what I used.
Yeah.
So what you could grate it first.
You could do that, but the blender takes care of it. So
okay.
I broke it into small pieces. I broke the bar into small pieces, and even after doing that, I was surprised at how rough it was. I thought it would just instantly disintegrate, but it didn't.
What if you melted it first?
Yeah, you could do that. I don't think it's necessary because the blender does take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just not dealing with chocolate enough. You are inexperienced.
That was one thing I was going to say is you can use any amount of any of these ingredients you want. If you want more rum, If you want more chocolate, add more chocolate.
Isn't it funny? I would have been like, if you want more chocolate, his first his first idea was if you want more rum.
You can also do just the passion fruit and the chocolate. Because the passion fruit that I bought, I could not find a fresh passion fruit in Duluth, Minnesota, where I live. So I had to buy frozen passion fruit.
Hmm.
And I was surprised that it's available. And
Oh, I have seen that. I have seen that in the
yeah,
frozen.
in that same section in the store that I went to, it was one of the larger chains in America. And they had a whole section of frozen fruits. They had frozen coconut, they had frozen dragon fruit, the passion fruit, uh, papaya. And I was actually surprised to find that in the frozen foods. I had no idea that they would offer that many different varieties.
Yeah, that is
But
interesting.
anyway, so like in Cynthia's case, she might want to use 8 ounces of chocolate, and 2 ounces of rum.
There you go. I don't do rum, but
Yeah. You can't even really taste it. I had my wife sample it last night and she didn't even notice there was booze in it. But then until I like the third or fourth drink, and then she said, "Does this have booze in it?" So,
she started drooling and then
Staggered.
but here's one thing that I found interesting. I thought, well, I bet you this would make a really good hot drink. So I poured the mixture into a coffee cup and heated it in the microwave, and it brought out the flavor of it all. It was good cold, but by heating it, for some reason, it brought out the passion for so
We're gonna have to
that
get you to
was
say
just
it. We're gonna have to get you to say that over again, Rick. Start
okay.
with just start with getting it hot, making it hot. You put it in a coffee cup. Go
Okay.
start that again.
Sure. I thought like a great chocolate type drink.
Yep,
Freezing.
it's not working. You're freezing up.
I'm going to have you guys while we're at this, have you guys heard of the mobile internet?
it sounds like he's been drinking his recipe.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait for him to get.
Yeah, saying my internet connection is unstable.
Right.
Mm.
It's good now. You want to try again?
Okay.
So you thought back to intro into the hot version of this drink.
Yeah, so I thought, well, I bet this will make a great hot chocolate type drink by heating up. I'm still losing it, aren't I?
Yeah.
Well, maybe after that part of it because it's not good anyway.
Oh, you were going to say it wasn't any good? I thought you were going to
Yeah,
say it.
leave the hot chocolate part out because it tastes passion fruit flavor made it taste really sour. So let's just leave that out anyway. Why tell them something that's not good?
Okay. All right. Well, do you have a conclusion for your passion fruit chocolate?
So I decided this name came to me. I don't know where it came from, but decided to call it Love Potion #9. It just came to me.
That's good. I love that song. That's one of my favorite oldies. All right. Well, thank you, Rick. Passion fruit and chocolate. That was very creative of you to look for that. All right. Well, one of the veggies I think is one of the most romantic veggies is artichokes, in my opinion. And just the presentation of it, how you eat it, picking the leaves off, and then cleaning
Don't
the
they
leaves.
have like a sticker on the end? So there's
They
like a
do. You got to be careful. So there are some varieties that aren't as spiny, thorny. I think they have like the globe artichoke now. I think that is they've bred those to a point where they're not as sharp. So, but they're still kind of.
But maybe that would be part of the
Oh,
allure of
oh,
the
I see. You're into S&M, are you?
No, I would just say no. I would say more that it's just like it's not always hugs and kisses.
Well, roses have thorns too. So there you
There
go.
you go.
All right.
And that's not
Yeah,
S and
but you
M.
don't eat them.
So I thought artichokes, they're not quite into full season, but you can generally get artichokes actually year round almost. But they're really not really in season in a big way until spring. But you can find them, and to serve one on Valentine's Day and share it with your significant other on a plate, and you use it as an appetizer and peel the leaves off and scrape the leaves off with your teeth. You pull those, dip it in a nice aioli sauce or something similar,
Butter.
butter, and then you work your way down to that heart, the artichoke heart, and you give your heart to your significant other. And those hearts are fantastic. It's a great payoff at the end because they're so succulent and so delicious. So, artichokes are my offering, and they have a rich history of symbolism of fertility, strength, and desire in the ancient cultures. According to Greek mythology, the first artichoke was Sinara, a beautiful woman whom Zeus transformed into the plant after she rejected his advances. This myth linked artichokes to love, seduction, and passion. They also symbolize strength and protection. The outer leaves, which require effort to peel away, symbolize resilience and hidden treasures. Romans and Greeks believed eating artichokes enhanced vitality and power. And luxury and status is another symbol of these. They were considered a delicacy in ancient Rome, eaten by the wealthy as an aphrodisiac and a health tonic. Women believed they boosted fertility, while men thought they increased virility. The Egyptians also viewed artichokes as a symbol of prosperity and good health, regeneration and renewal. In the medieval and Renaissance time, artichokes became symbols of wealth, sophistication, and love. Catherine de' Medici, a lover of artichokes, popularized them in France, reinforcing their reputation as a food of passion, indulgence, and as an aphrodisiac. So, artichokes fit in well with Valentine's Day, and it's such a great start to a meal to eat one of those with your significant other and enjoy it together. So, today, artichokes continue to represent hidden beauty, patience, and reward, mirroring their layered structure that requires effort to uncover their soft, flavorful heart. That's right. Get down to that heart. Give your heart to one another on Valentine's Day with an artichoke.
You can take a half a cup of mayonnaise and add 2 tablespoons of Italian dressing.
Oh,
Mix it up. That is a really good dip for them if you
okay.
don't need to watch your fat intake.
Right. Sounds good.
It's
So
really good.
half a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of
Two
Italian.
tablespoons of Italian dressing.
Yeah, that's easy. Very easy to get there.
Yeah, makes a great dip.
Right. Very good.
And they're very easy to steam.
Yeah, that's true. Should talk a little bit about the best way to prepare them.
Yeah.
If you have a steaming basket, that's the way I like to do. Don't put them down in the water completely. Although it's not as bad, but you retain more of the nutrients if you have it in a basket in a pot to steam them.
Above the water. Yeah.
Above the water. Keep it above the water so that the nutrients don't seep out. You can roast them too. I've never tried roasting them. Have any of you roasted them?
Oh, you could bake them and add a mixture of garlic and Parmesan cheese and breadcrumbs, and then like stuff them in there and then cook it.
Oh, that's
Stuff it in the leaves and cook it.
yeah, yeah. Generally, when you prepare an artichoke, whether you're steaming or baking, roasting, we're talking about, you want to cut off just the very top of it so it's flat across the top. That exposes the inner leaves to the steam or to Cynthia's delicious stuffing. Stuffed artichokes. Sounds like. Yeah, I like that. Okay, well, thank you, Produce Buzzers, for your wonderful, delicious ideas to make Valentine's Day more special, romantic, and healthy. That's the most important thing. Some great ideas there.
Also, for the redneck members of our audience, when we're talking about artichokes, we're not talking about the ones that are in a bottle on the store shelf. We're talking about fresh artichokes.
Artichoke hearts in the bottle, yeah. Yeah,
Although
that's
those
true.
are pretty good in a salad.
Yeah.
Yes.
And on pizza. I like to put those on pizza. Marinate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I were given the choice, I'd take the artichoke hearts in a bottle over fresh.
Well, it's much easier, but it's the ritual of eating that artichoke with someone
Right.
special.
And it's kind of a legend that when in high society, when a person daughter was dating someone, and they would always give them the test to see how cultured they were by serving them an artichoke at dinner to see if they knew how to eat it.
That's good. And if they didn't, they weren't good enough for the daughter.
That's right.
No rednecks allowed here. That's great. Okay. Well, do we have a homegrown today?
Oh, yes, we do have a homegrown.
All right.
Depraved or deprived?
He wants to know if he's depraved or deprived.
Both.
Both, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so let me introduce it. So, Produce Buzzers podcast fans, it's time for your favorite segment on the Produce Buzzers podcast. Yes, it's time for Home Grown. No, don't run away. Don't turn the show off. Don't turn the volume down. You have to sit and be punished. Teresa, what is the homegrown this week?
Okay, so we've discussed the nutritional value of a lot of the foods we discussed today. Which of the produce items do doctors say will give you the longest life?
Okay. Which of the we've discussed the health benefits. These all, you said, Teresa, 32% something by
decrease
in cognitive decline. Okay, well, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to live longer.
Well,
Just
32%
don't
decrease
get crazy
in
early.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cynthia really talked about the benefits.
Yeah, I had the
beets.
antioxidants and fiber.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I
that
didn't
was
really say
that
much
was hard to beat.
Oh, right.
Go ahead. What else?
I didn't say anything about the nutritional value of artichokes, but they are very nutritious. They may not be on the level of beets. And Rick didn't really talk much about his nutrition, but we don't care about any of those. We want to know what doctors say is the fruit or veggie that makes you live the longest. Is that what I'm hearing?
The produce item that will give you the longest life.
Okay. Any thoughts, Rick?
That's a tough one. Did we talk about that today? One of the items?
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
It's just a question. Yeah.
Sure.
It's got to be something with a name that has something to do with long life. I don't know. I got nothing, man. None of you have anything. Usually you have something, Rick.
Yeah, come on, Rick. You're the one that's so.
This has got a different twist to it, so a lot of times just silly things pop into my head, but I can't think of anything.
Not just when I'm trying to guess a pun.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
We give up.
All right. So the produce item that will give you the longest life is the heartbeat.
Oh.
without it, the heartbeat. Cynthia talked about cutting her beets in the shape of a heart. The
Right.
heartbeat.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, so we did talk about it today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks to Cynthia. Now you know how to live a long life and have a romantic Valentine's dinner. So.
I think I said something about heart and beat, and then Edwin goes heartbeat, and I go, oh my God, that's the perfect thing for a pun. And then I go, I gotta call Teresa and give it to her so that she can
So Cynthia
make it
pun.
into a pun. And
Yeah.
I go, we'll just we'll keep quiet because Ricky usually do guess them the most.
Is that a variety of beets, heartbeats, or?
No,
but
she cut her beets in the shape of a heart.
Right. Okay. I thought
So-
maybe that
And
was.
so we were like,
variety of-
yeah, heartbeats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like heart shaped. It was, you could cut it into heart shaped beats. And then Edwin goes, heartbeat. And I'm like, oh my God. So that's what it was, like cutting it into.
That wasn't a discussion we had a few days ago when we were talking.
Yeah. So then of course I had to call Teresa and we were trying to set you up, Rick.
And you didn't even say, even though I was the inspiration for it, I didn't come to my mind. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, the reason
good.
I was so off track is because I was trying to think of the actual name of a fruit or vegetable,
Yeah.
not the shape of the heart. Not that I would have gotten it.
Yeah. Thank you, Produce Buzzers, for your wonderful, delicious Valentine's Day offerings for fruits and veggies that will make your Valentine's Day more special and more healthy. Well, thank you, listeners, for tuning in to the Produce Buzzers podcast, brought to you by Produce Buzz, the gathering place for lovers of fresh fruits and veggies. We hope you were entertained a bit and educated a lot about fresh produce. Be sure to join us next time, and please tell your friends to do so as well. Like, share, and comment on our Produce Buzz Facebook page. And check out our website at www.producebuzz.com. There you will find articles about fresh fruits and veggies, how to select, store, and prepare them, as well as lots of interesting facts about all the wonderful bounty the earth provides for us. Until next time, be fruitful and don't forget to veg out.